Welcome everyone. Welcome back. So let's kind of talk and take what we left off with ratios a step further, right? So we're going to see one real life application of when you use ratios, all right? And now that is when, so a lot of times, you guys are going to want to go on vacation. You guys are going to want to go to a different island, a different country. You want to travel the world, right? And so one real life skill that you can kind of adopt really quickly is to know the value of how much money the currency that you have in your hometown. So say you're in Jamaica, right? JMD is your currency. Well, how much value that has when you go to United States, when you go to any island that you wanted to go to for vacation, all right? So what we're in a nutshell, what we're talking about is foreign exchange, all right? So every currency is not the same, right? So one Jamaican dollar is not the same as one US dollar. And so you have to understand that, right? One US dollar is not the same as £1, right? And so what happens, we have to kind of figure out how much value how much money you have carries to the table, right? So let's kind of jump into a quick example and hopefully make sense. All right, so let's pull up this. This does not look like foreign exchange. This looks like geometry, lines, equation of a line, fun stuff, right? Now, let's talk about foreign exchange today, all right? Now, I'm just gonna put FE, foreign exchange, all right? Now, typically, foreign exchange is, it kind of comes in currencies, right? And there's a pair. So a pair means there's two things, right? So let's see if I can pull up. I think I have it here somewhere. Work with me. It doesn't want to work with me. There we go. One United States dollar is equivalent to 153.62 Jamaican dollar, right? So I have USD, which is the currency for the United States dollar. I have JMD, which is the currency for Jamaica, right? So I have one United States dollar is the same thing as 153.62, right? So if you had 153.62 Jamaican dollars, you essentially only have one US dollar, all right? And so it takes more Jamaican dollars to make one United States dollar, all right? That's in a nutshell, all right? Now, let's kind of take it a step further now. Let's kind of understand this framework here for foreign exchange, right? So typically, say, for example, you want to go on vacation and your guide tells you, you know what, you need like roughly, $1,000 to really, 1,000 United States dollar in order to really have a fun time, right? So you're going on a 2-day trip and that's the budget, yeah? Now, well, if you notice, this is United States dollar. So I'm going to go under the United States column and I'm going to insert another row and put 1,000 right here. And now I'm trying to figure out what is that equivalent to in Jamaican. So you're kind of trying to figure out how much Jamaican will get me to being able to purchase 1,000 United States dollars so I will be okay. All right. So remember what we talked about in the ratios video. That's the last video that I posted. It's always about multiplying and dividing when it talks about ratios, never add and subtract. Now, I can easily say, how do I get from 1 to 1,000? Well, I added 999 to it, right? But that is what I was talking about earlier. You will never talk about add and subtract when you talk about ratios. It's all about multiply and divide. So how can I get from 1 to 1,000? Well, I can multiply by 1,000 because 1,000 times 1 is still 1,000, right? 1,000 times anything is anything times 1 is going to give you back that same number, right? Now, what you do to one side of the ratio, you have to do to the other. So this number is going to be multiplied by 1,000, all right? So this X value that I'm trying to find, I just found how I'm going to get it. So X is going to be equal to 153.62 times 1,000, all right? Little secret trick with these zeros, there's 3 zeros you're multiplying. So you're going to move your decimal place. There's 3 zeros, so 3 times to the right. So 3 times, and I put a little 0 there. So X is going to be equal to 153,620, 153,000. Let me kind of put that there. So 153,620. All right. Now we can check it easily on our calculator if you need to. So you guys know both ways. So 153 point, what was it? 62 times the 1,000 gives me that same 153,620. All right. So that's what I got. So this is how much Jamaican dollars you'd have to save up in order to purchase 1,000 US dollars. All right. So then you can have fun on your vacation. All right. So hope that makes sense for this. All right. Let's do one more example and then we will move on to another topic. All right. Now, once again, we're going to work with the same US and Jamaican. Let me put a little thing out there also. This rate, or this is what's called a conversion rate. This changes daily, right? So if you ever heard of the foreign exchange market, this changes daily. So this number might not be the same when you're looking at this video, all right? Now, suppose you have, for example, so no more vacation, but suppose you wanted to know how much 10,000 Jamaican dollars is worth, right? So you have 10,000 Jamaican dollars, you saved it up. I don't need to put JMD here because it's under the JMD column. You saved it up and you want to know, can I even, how much US dollars is this equivalent to? Can I purchase, right? So let's kind of figure that out. So once again, if you notice, the framework is always going to be the same. You're going to have some sort of conversion that you should know. And then the other two, you're going to know one part of it, but you won't know the other part of it, okay? Now, in order to figure out what this guy is, we first have to figure out how do you get from this to this. Now, did the number go up? Yes, it did. So it went from 153.62 and it went up to 10,000, right? And remember, we're trying to figure out what is it that we multiply to 153.62 to get to 10,000, all right? So this times, and I can't put the multiply sign there, but I don't want to. Okay, so this times some number, I'm going to call it y, is going to give me 10,000. All right. Now this is an equation with one unknown, right? So this times this. So when I have two things kind of clamped together, they're multiplying. Okay. I just don't want to be putting this anymore times y because it's kind of redundant. And in math, we don't do it anymore. All right. So we're solving for this unknown y. There are two things multiplying. Now, so how do I get rid of a multiply? What do I have to do to get rid of a multiply? I would have to do the opposite. So I have to divide by 153.62 on this side. And just like with the ratios, what you do to one side of the equal sign, you have to do to the other side of the equal sign. All right, so 153.62. So the number that you have to multiply this 153.62 by will be 10,000 divided by 153.62, which gives me this lot of decimals, right? So 65.0509, 65.0956. I'm gonna stop at 3 decimal places. And I'm gonna round that one. So it starts at 6, but the next one is a 9. So I'm gonna round that to 7. All right, so I'm gonna take off the 6 and I wanna put a 7. If it wants to work with me, 0.957. All right. So really what happened here? How did you move from this 153.62 to 10,000? You had to multiply by 65.0957. Right. Now remember, what you do to one side of the ratio, you have to do to the other. So I'd have to multiply this other side by 65.0957. Now what you do to anything times 1 is going to give you that same number, right? So really $65 US, right? Roughly $65 US is the same thing as $10,000 Jamaican, all right? Now you can use this for anything you want. So if you want to go to Cancun, if you want to go to Aruba or Bermuda, it isn't Bahamas, every island, every place, every country has a particular currency exchange rate. All right. All you have to do is get the regular one, like this to this, and then you have to think about, well, what am I trying to figure out? Am I trying to figure out how much US I can buy with 10,000 Jamaican? Or whatever the example might be. Or you're trying to budget for a trip. You want to know how much of the particular currency to carry and how much you have to save in they'll call it the domestic currency. Then you can figure this all out. All right. So I hope this helps. We will move on to algebra, maybe next, I believe. I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.